There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
Our perspective is yours for the taking, but you'll have to join us first. We left everything we debated at the Yonkō Table.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for the Yonkō Table, the table that will make their dreams come true. Yo, everyone. The Yonkō Table has set sail yet again into the realm of the MCU with Miss Marvel. We are on episode 2 of the hit new Disney Plus series, and we're going to deep dive this episode very, very soon. And before we get into it, we want to announce that our Patreon is now live. Go check it out. Link in the description down below. There's different tiers that you can donate to, and every patron will have access to the Discord server of the Yonkō Table, where you can continue the conversation of all the sorts of geekdom stuff you want to get into, including Star Wars, MCU, anime, you name it, we got it. It's all there. So check it out in the description. But we got more important matters right now. We're here to deep dive episode 2 of Miss Marvel. With me, as always, is fellow Yonkō GrandMasterHoop. Grandmaster, episode 2, Miss Marvel. Are you about it?
Yes, I'm about it. I like what we are given here. I will say episode 1 I found way more entertaining. However, I do like certain aspects that are given shine here versus some others. But overall, I see it building. We really don't have an idea of what it's building to, because they're taking a lot of liberties here in this series. But we at least know part of the end game equation is the film The Marvels. But with that said, I'm enjoying Kamala Khan's journey. So I like Kamala, and I'm excited to see where we see her end up. And I want that costume. I don't want it to be like the last episode where we get that costume. That'll make me really mad, but whatever. So there we go.
I like the pronunciation you gave her name. It's almost as if you're trying to say a certain vice president.
Absolutely not.
I don't know.
Kamala Khan. Kamala.
You didn't say Kamala.
Kamala.
You did
it's
not.
Kamala. It's Kamala.
I told you were changing it.
This is not intentional. This is me learning. Kamala. There you go. I like Kamala. I like her story.
We all do. And with us as well, our fellow Supernovas here for our deep dive. And let's get into it. So, episode 2. I liked it. I thought it was, it maintained the same energy from the previous week's episode. That visual energy that we got, where you see the little crazy things like going around in Kamala's imagination. You see that in here too. You see her texting her friends, or when she sees a hot guy coming out of the pool, you got a little outline of like him being hot. I like that they're maintaining that. It wasn't like a one and done thing for episode 1. But what did you guys think overall for episode 2?
I mean, I kind of enjoy, or I agree with GrandMasterHoop. Like, it was definitely enjoyable. Maybe not as enjoyable as that first interaction that we had in the first episode, but I thought for sure GrandMasterHoop was going to love that one training montage that they were doing on the rooftops, because it gave Spider-Man Tobey Maguire vibes when he was in the first movie, jumping and leaping between buildings. I thought for sure he was going to try to make an equation to that.
I did not think it was remotely similar at all.
What? No way.
No.
Because they involve buildings.
And they were jumping off of the ledges.
I did not get that vibe. But
rewatch.
I do admit this was, I usually watch these things twice. I only was able to watch this once because I was so enamored with Obi-Wan. That's where I spend most of my time. But speaking of the visual aesthetics, I thought I was waiting for the visual aesthetics a lot during this episode. They were definitely more prevalent in the first episode, but I did like what they did though. It was like, they reminded you that they're there, but they don't want to overwhelm you, and they don't want it to be the gimmick of the show. So I did like when Cameron, when he came out the pool, And yeah, it was like that outline. She had the fire emojis going behind it, and I think some hearts going around. That was cool. That was different. And I also, again, the text messages came back. And then I really liked the visual aesthetic when her friend Nakia was going over her little campaign strategy at the Eid festival. So the visual aesthetic is there, and I do enjoy that. But I'm glad it's not overbearing, and I'm glad that's not the big reel of the show.
Right.
But yeah, I'll let y'all talk about that more. But yeah, this episode, yeah, I still stand. Episode 1 I found much more enjoyable. However, this one, stands apart strongly for one reason, and I'm sure we're gonna get into it.
Okay. For me, yeah, episode 1 was way better than this episode. Not to say this one was not enjoyable. Camellia is still a good character, so I enjoy seeing her on screen. Okay, wait, let's stop.
Ahead.
That was intentional. That was intentional. Y'all are bad.
So smooth though.
Just call her Vice President Harris already. Just go ahead.
No.
Okay. Okay, anyway, let me just stop. Yeah, it was enjoyable. Let's move on.
It was. I mean, yeah, I'm kind of on the same page with you guys too. I enjoyed the first episode a little bit more, and maybe that's because of like the visual flair that they try to impress you with in episode 1. I did notice it's not as prevalent in this episode. I think there's probably only like
one
3.
scene.
No, there's a couple. There's like 3 instances where they do the visual flair thing. You know, they like Grandmaster was saying, the hot guy scene.
Yeah.
And then when she goes back home, she starts texting her friend, and you see the messages appearing on her bed sheets behind her.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So there's a couple, but not as much as the first episode. And I think they did that on purpose so that,
I agree.
you know, yeah, first episode was like, gotta reel them in, gotta hook them.
Well, I mean, it's also like the animation team that's like doing all the stuff in the background and doing like all the visual effects. They had to kind of tease the idea of like, all right, well, let's do something fresh. Let's do these like different emojis and like animation styles up until like she gets her powers. Now that she has her powers, I think the focus more is on like the animation of her powers and like using her powers in different settings and stuff. So I think that is probably more of the focus, and that way the powers are more of like a foreground thing and not a background thing. So that way it's not competing with like the little animation stuff. It's kind of like all within like, all right, if she's not really using her powers, maybe we can put little heart emojis. If she is using her powers, it's not overwhelm the audience with like all these different visual graphics and stuff.
I would say the opposite. I would say if we had the background information as she's using her power, it will pop out more. It will make her different from any other Marvel show. That is one of the unique aspects of the show that I like. Because, I mean, we all talked about it in the first episode. Seeing the things on the wall as she's walking with her friend, making the plans, stuff like that. Those are the things that we're going to remember 2 years from now. We're not going to remember her clenching her fist as a villain, ever.
Do we know that yet? Do we
I mean, for now, we're not going to remember. I mean, it has to be a really good scene, but I feel like shows like this, they need to find something unique, which helps them become more popular. That way, even people who are not familiar with Marvel and DC like we are can say, yeah, I like this show because of the little things in the background. You know, this show about this in the background. It helps pull people in.
I agree, but I also disagree slightly because she kind of already has something that's different. She's like, this is something that's a very different equation to Marvel already, because you kind of have like that teeny bopper, like this isn't really a demo like for our demographic. So we do have those animation styles, but we also have something totally different in this, like in the fact that we get to see a different culture on the screen as well.
Let me take both y'all's ideas, because I think what the aesthetic really is an inner look at her mind and how it works. So when it comes to the visual stuff,
Lizzie McGuire.
Well, yeah, kind of a lot of it. A lot of it is already things she's already known. She knows she's a daydreamer. She's a mind wanderer. So her mind wanders anytime she talks about the Avengers, and her mind wanders, you know, when she's fantasizing. When it comes to her powers, she's still learning about her powers. So if you want to take it kind of like another layer, the visual gags don't come in because she too is learning about her powers. She's taking everything in when she's experimenting with her powers. And then I'll raise it another one too. She also doesn't do much of the visual gags when it comes to her religion, like when she's in the mosque or when she's celebrating the holiday, because she's really putting that focus right there and she's not daydreaming. For example, during the mosque scene, she's like talking about how all the women are always separated and how their corner of the mosque is always like dilapidated and it's falling apart. Her focus is right there, versus the daydreaming usually happens when she's fantasizing, and that's when the visual gags come in. So I think it's kind of it's like a blend of the idea of maybe when she gets more of a handle of her powers, maybe we'll see the visual edits come in along with the powers.
Because at that point you see her like daydreaming in like fight scenes where she's like imagining herself being more grandiose than she might actually be, in a way.
Which we did see that a little bit too. She did the whole superhero pose, and then it happened. You know, it wasn't her fault, but you know, she had the vision, who I think of her great grandmother, and she lost that focus and almost killed that kid.
Wait, I thought that lady whose vision she had was the lady she met at the end of the episode.
No. The person she saw when she was saving that kid, definitely has to be her great grandmother.
Aisha.
Was that grandmother the person in the car later?
No.
They look familiar.
Do y'all listen? That mother is the mother
of Kamala.
I know.
Kamala, yeah.
I mean, that's what they're posing.
That is totally.
And, honestly, I mean, this is Marvel. You could be immortal.
I saw.
She could have that immortality that maybe she live forever.
I saw the character and I was like, oh, is that the grandma? Is she immortal or something? I don't know. They look similar. I could be wrong, but I'm glad I wasn't the only one that thought that, because I was like, I know the person in the vision was the grandmother. I just didn't know if that same grandmother was the one that appeared at the end.
Maybe I'll take another look. Maybe they do look
similar. But dialing it back a little bit, the culture, right? I think this episode did a pretty decent job integrating the culture into the episode, showing us a new side of the MCU and just a side of the real world that we really don't get seen in media too much. I thought they did a fantastic job. I don't know what you guys think.
I agree. And I had to read up on it too to see if people of, you know, similar backgrounds or Pakistani backgrounds were, you know, approving of it. And I did read an article and I did see some tweets, and it is good. They do like the representation. They don't feel like it's forced. And overall it's been getting a good response. I like it for one because, again, comparing episode 1 to 2, I feel episode 1 was really big on her fandom as a fan, you know?
Right.
And then we got, you know, of course we got that. And I actually, now that I think about it more, each episode kind of culminates to an event that really kind of defines her character. You know, she went to Avengers Con in the first one. And now in this one, she's celebrating Eid al-Fitr, because there's 2 Eids, and I believe it's Eid al-Fitr that ends Ramadan. And so I think the cultural aspect of the show, I think they're nailing it, because again, my whole thing is I end up looking up a bunch of this stuff. I actually have a friend, Darce, you know him, Dr. Jace, you met Arjun. Arjun was telling me about how he's like, there's this one like Bollywood actor who's going to appear in the show, and he's like waiting for him to appear. And they're and just the mere mention of Bollywood too, and they're deep diving these stars. I'm like, man, I wonder if this is like kind of a natural conversation they're getting on camera versus, you know, like a forced dialogue type of thing. I mean, it's probably a little bit of both, but I really appreciate what's going on, and I really like the mosque scene too. I think they're doing a good job. I mean, it's not representing my culture, but I feel from what I've seen online and just as a third-party viewer, I don't feel it's forced. I feel they're feeding you very nicely, and it's very nice.
No, I agree. You know, in shows like these, you know, you kind of want to get to the part where the superhero gets their powers and they're fighting evil or something, right? Or they're saving the day. And Kamala does that, at the end of each episode. Oh my God. Kamala? Is that what you said?
Kamala.
Kamala.
Chameleon? Caramel? What are you saying?
Kamala.
Kamala. That's what I said the first time.
We're gonna get in trouble if you keep playing.
Anyways, Kamala. Oh my God, I lost my train of thought. I don't even know where I was going.
You said, people are waiting to get to the superhero aspect.
The superhero aspect, right. And honestly, I really don't mind the pace that they're going with right now. I obviously at some point I do want to see her come into her own character as Miss Marvel, but I'm actually enjoying these like slice of life stuff with the character before she becomes a superhero. I like seeing where she goes to her mosque. I like seeing when she goes to classes, what does she do? The entire time it keeps making me wonder how they're going to handle the Spider-Man freshman year series that comes out I think next year, or I don't know if we have a date for it yet, but we know
no date.
We have a title card for it, right?
Sorry, you said Spider-Man freshman year?
Yeah, it was one of the shows announced, maybe
animated. It's animated.
Oh, it's animated. Okay, but it's MCU though, right?
Yeah, it's gonna fit in the timeline. Yeah.
So is it Tom Holland Spider-Man or
that universe? We don't know if he's coming back to voice the character, but you'll see him, Ned, all of them. Yeah.
So it'd be like freshman year of college, right? Is that what
before no freshman year of high school, before he was recruited by Tony Stark in Civil War.
Probably lead up to when your favorite Uncle Ben moment.
It very much could.
Very much. But we'll see. But anyway, the only reason why I bring that up is because it's the only property of Marvel that I know of outside of Miss Marvel that's going to tackle like a high school setting. So I was wondering like, wow, Miss Marvel's doing it really well, because I'm actually following along and I really don't care to like speed things up to like who's the villain or when's she gonna do crazy things with their powers. I like this. It makes me wonder how Spider-Man gonna do it. So I don't know. It's nice. It's nice so far. What do you guys think of the new heartthrob, Cameron? Is it no? How do you pronounce it? Kamran?
I think it's Kamran. Yeah.
Kamran. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't trust him from the beginning. He just gave off these vibes. I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought at first he was working for those like agents. I thought like
that's what I thought.
That Kamala Khan was like part of it, and then like he was like a plan in there, and like now like, oh man, she's gonna have her heart broken, and then she's gonna go to my man Bruno. But I guess there's a different agent at work here. It looks like he's still part of an agenda, but maybe not those cops' agenda. I think it might be under those whoever his mom is.
Actually, the better question is, what is the agenda of the cops? Are they just going to capture her? Like, what is their goal?
I don't even feel like they're cops. They're like a different like branch, because like
they're
secret
services, right? Like some kind of secret like mystical power services, but they haven't explained who they are. Like, what is their goal?
Right now, I think they're slating to do the Thunderbolts, General Ross and the Thunderbolts. So maybe they're trying to get as many superhuman people to come and work for the government, because the Avengers are technically not owned by a specific country. Maybe they're trying to create their own like American team of superheroes.
You don't do that by kidnapping little kids in the street by having drones fire at them.
Maybe they just want to talk to her.
Well, the drones didn't fire at her.
They did not. They just stood in front of her.
They chased her menacingly, so that's good enough.
Yeah, their apprehension tactics are definitely not very inviting. I think I would have run away too.
You could just knock on
I
her
don't
door.
think they're evil. I don't think it's a secret
I don't think
evil
they
group.
are.
They're just idiots. I'm calling him right now.
But definitely Kamran's mother and him are definitely, I think, working in some they're an agency. I think Kamran and his mother are more of like a secret society.
Yeah.
And actually, with that said, when she was testing out her powers, Bruno was like, "Oh, the power's actually coming from inside you, and the bangle is kind of amplifying it." Maybe they might dive into her inhuman, bloodline, ancestry, or whatever. Maybe that's what they're alluding to, because why would they say the power is coming from inside her? Which is what traditionally in the comics, that's what it was. It was just it needed activation. So maybe it's an inhuman faction trying to, help her out. But I like Kamran. I like the little love interest. Sorry, Bruno.
No, I need more Bruno.
I told you there was a lot. Someone said it last week.
It was me.
Okay.
It was me. It was me. I thought he was just a friend, and now I see.
No,
he is the Ron Stoppable to her Kim Possible.
And you thought that there was
comparison.
That's a really good comparison. But you thought Zoe and her had a little love. I did not.
She gave her a look. She gave her a look.
A friend. It was a friend look. GrandMaster. It was a friendly look. Hey, friend.
And then she got a basketball thrown at her face. What the? How is that?
Kamran, he's playing her. He's just trying to get in close. I mean, he could like her. He could. But by the end of the episode, he's got some ulterior motives, whatever. Why his mother's been dying to meet him. Did they know about this family from,
Are they related
before?
In any way?
They could be related.
I'm not going to lie. This kind of does go back into what Toasty was saying. We kind of do think that it might be the same person that was inside the bracelet that was in her visions.
I'm telling you,
guys, it was the same person.
They look similar. I saw it. No, it might not be the same
cast, and there's nobody else that's in that cast.
Don't be pulling up the cast now. You're gonna get spoiled.
No, but they purposely had the name removed, and there was only one extra person that didn't fit that cast, and so I think it's the same person. And if it is the same person, does that make him her cousin?
No, it could be that the
brother.
They did make an illusion earlier where they were playing off as a joke, like when the brother came into the restaurant and they were like, he's my cousin. And it was a joke, but they might spin that into, oh no, I am actually your cousin. I am actually related to you. They could.
They could.
We don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
But I like him as an addition to the cast. Like it gives a little bit more of a layer of like that love layer, but then also now you have an extra layer of like secrecy, and then you have an extra layer of like, is she the next Avatar? Like, what is going on with this bangle? I'm getting major Avatar vibes from it. I think she can communicate with her past ancestors. I think that would be kind of cool. I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting to see all of this kind of play out. So far, every person that I talked to that has been watching Miss Marvel, they're all for this like new way of her like reaching her powers, like using the bangle. It was kind of a risk that Marvel was taking for this, but I think everybody seems to be pretty on board with it. Nobody's kind of butthurt about her not being able to be super stretchy or anything that like people were talking about beforehand. But I think right now it's pretty cool. Like it's different. It does give off Green Lantern vibes, but I think it's still kind of pretty cool to see this all play out.
I think by tying it to kind of the cultural aspect of the show, it makes it bearable than just changing it for the heck of changing it. And versus, they could have just done the whole cosmic thing, but they decided to add an extra layer, which I find that is probably the more enjoyable route for the viewer. If you're going to change something, give it purpose, and I feel they gave it a good purpose.
No, I agree too. I feel like their more purposeful reasoning behind it is to not overshadow someone like Mr. Fantastic with similar stretchy powers, but Kamala's is expansion. But I do like how they're incorporating it. I like how it's tied to her bangles. I like how she has like a kind of like what Darce said, like an Avatar ancestry that hopefully she can tap into. I hope it's not just going to be, just illusions or something that she sees randomly, which, I mean, we didn't get really a confirmation as to how or why her grandmother showed up in front of her. Actually, wait, no, it's her great grandmother.
It's
Yeah,
her
it was the great because she
great-grandmother.
spoke to the grandmother.
Right.
But the grandmother seems to be, she's like, oh, I can't hear you, Kamala, speak up. I think the grandmother's hiding something, and definitely the mother too, because the mother, they started talking.
Yeah.
They started talking about the great grandmother, and then there was the whole mystery of how the grandmother almost got left off the train, and then she kind of like magically.
She followed the
appeared.
Stars.
No, the great
stars.
grandmother did something to put her on the train.
She
but
followed the stars.
no, man.
Are you calling Abu a liar?
Oh, is that what he
Yeah.
said?
That is
Yes.
what he said.
Oh, that's what he said.
told,
Oh my God.
Sorry.
He told
fine.
the Amir's fiance the story.
Yes.
Um,
Cosmic. So maybe cosmic entities came down to India because, again, I like this historical bit now. You talk about culture. Now you got history going on with the partition. And again, I had to look this stuff up. I'm liking this. I like the historical context,
I didn't think they were even gonna get into the partition of.
You knew about the partition?
I
did.
heard of the name, but
Okay.
like I'm not like the history buff, but I know of its existence. I just wasn't expecting them to mention it. Like, oh wow, they actually touched on it, and they're actually kind of tickling it a little bit by going a little bit further, like saying how it affected some people, and then still somehow incorporating that into what's going on in the story.
No, it makes sense in a way because the partition of India, you had millions of people moving either going from India to Pakistan or Bangladesh, or people going from Bangladesh and Pakistan to India. And at the time, there was no Bangladesh; it was just Pakistan. So a lot of people were
mentioned
affected.
that. I like that they
Yeah.
mentioned that.
Yeah, because Bangladesh gained their independence like years later because the Pakistanis started abusing them, but that's a different issue. But millions of people died. Millions of people were lost. It was just mass murder, mass everything, really. So everybody, it's one of those things, like I'm sure you guys have it and if you have family in the islands, if something happened in your hometown, they're going to tell you, everybody knows somebody who was affected by it.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing here.
Right. That was even in their community, that they were all aware of it. And apparently they're all aware about like the great shame that the great grandmother gave, which again,
He killed somebody.
She's
supposedly.
Well, she also had a bunch of children with people too, apparently.
And she ran away with her lover. Again, it's a lot of that gossip that goes around in tightly knit communities that people
Yeah.
like
Rewatch this
spreading.
episode. I didn't get any of that. I got to rewatch this episode.
Wait, you don't remember that scene?
that was during like the aunties
party.
were talking.
The
Yeah.
festival at the end, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
Kamala, she was asking about
her. She was
about
asking
her.
about her. Yeah.
because she had already asked the grandmother, and she was being evasive. She then asked the mother, who was also being evasive. So then once they went to the festival,
Oh, were these the Illuminantes?
Illuminati.
Yes.
The Illuminati.
Oh, there
I
you go.
like that. I like
That was good.
funny.
That was good. That was funny.
It's funny because like I was half paying attention in that transition scene, and I remember Nakia, she said something like Illuminati, and I had to take like a double take, like, are they bringing a lot of Illuminatis? Wait, I wasn't
Oh my
paying
God.
attention, and then
Right. No, I don't think the Illuminati is established in this universe yet. So
Oh my God.
Can you imagine
Yes.
the Illuminati is just a bunch of Indian aunties that are there
Gossip.
judging-
I will say this too, speaking of, kind of like the gossip scene and, embedding. Now they're taking Marvel and kind of blending the culture. They love Kingo, the Eternal,
Okay,
Oh,
so
wait,
that's
they
literally
mentioned it.
Yeah,
what I'm
that's
pulling
Kingo.
up right now. Yeah, so I was trying to remember the name of the Bollywood movies that they were talking about, and I like pulled up the posters right now, and I'm like, what movie?
Oh, those movies are Kingo movies?
Oh.
I think those are Kingo movies.
Oh, that's even funnier because I know they just name drop Kingo, but they also, it's funny too because they don't know he's an Eternal. And
Right.
so they're like, oh, my mom loves Kingo Senior.
Oh, snap.
Because
I
he's
didn't catch
eternal,
that.
he doesn't die. He keeps playing
Yes,
Ascendant.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right.
That is funny.
I think she even said like
missed
good
that.
genes too, talking about how they look so much alike.
Clownery, bro. Oh my
That's
God.
good. That's
hilarious.
funny. That
is. I completely missed that. Wow. Was that when they were talking with each other?
in the
aunties?
cafe. No. It's when she's talking to Kamran in the cafe.
Yeah, because they
Oh,
talked
yeah.
about it in the car, and then Bruno
they
popped
talked
out
about
saying, "Oh yeah, I've seen all the Kingo movies too," and he was like, "Okay, bro, back up."
My poor bro.
Oh my
bad
God.
Bruno.
Out of here, Bruno.
We
He's-
need more Bruno.
He's getting jealous.
Also,
What's he
I
gonna
kind of
do?
like that one scene with Bruno and his guidance counselor, and he's like, you know, the moment when they say like, "Hey, you're gonna be a Jedi. This is your moment. Go to Caltech." Like, I was kind of laughing, and I'm like, "Oh," and it's kind of funny to see that like the side character is now getting his like. They alluded to it, like the side character. This is your big moment. You are the main character, even though it's like, are you? You're not really the main character, but that's okay.
But they're doing good too with the other
Yeah.
friend, Nakia, because she's over here. You know,
Yeah,
she's
sure.
caught in that weird place. She's like, because I don't know her background yet, but she says she's too white for, you know, some, and then she's too ethnic for some, and then, you know, she's got her whole journey with her hijab and why she wears the scarf, and now she's running for something in the mosque.
Board members.
The
board
yeah,
member.
The
right.
mosque board of
Yeah.
directors.
I'm
She
like,
could
I'm
be-
actually like invested.
She could be. I could see them making her a Slavic Muslim, because Slavics are practically white people from Europe who are Muslim,
Mhm.
but they don't tend to wear the hijab. Culturally speaking, it's not something you see in the Slavic countries. So that's probably why she mentioned her family looked at her weird like that, because she didn't mention anything about her name being different before. So we just have to assume that she was born with the name Nakia, and that would be a weird ethnic name, you know?
Right.
And it's a good point that you said that, because I think Kamala said that in Kamala said that in when she was talking to the gym teacher. She said like, in your country it's pronounced Kamala, you know, like that's a very interesting point that like she had to make that differentiation that like it's not Camila or whatever, it's Kamala, but it's specifically here that's how you pronounce it.
The gym teacher wasn't even like he was mispronouncing it, but he was like calling her a different name by
Completely
that
different.
point.
She just didn't know.
He didn't
Oh
know
no,
any
he was
better.
bad. He was dumb.
I do like the confidence scene that she had when she was walking back into the school. I was waiting for her
Yeah.
to do, like the finger guns and then the hip rolling when she walked by.
Oh my
Some
God, the
Spider-Man
Spider-Man.
reference.
Goodness. At some point we will get it. We will get a reference to it. I'm waiting. Because I think even the actress, she said like Tom Holland spoiled No Way Home to her.
Yes,
hilarious.
right. Because
That's hilarious.
their stages were right next to each other.
Oh, I didn't know they
And
were
he-
right next to each other.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
how. Yeah, she went and told one of like the producers. She's like, "Hey, I haven't met Tom Holland yet," and so he went and got him. And then like he shows her a picture of Toby and Andrew.
What a crowd. Oh my
How's
Right.
God.
Toby going? Oh, hey, look. This is me.
No, like she asked him, you know, what's going on in No Way Home, and he's like, idiot. Come on,
That's
man.
Tom Holland. Gotta
man.
love him. It's funny. But we get towards the end of the episode, Kamala being able to act as her hero persona, Miss Marvel. She comes in, she saves
Nightlight.
Nightlight as given to her by her friend, or as Grandmaster would say, her love interest, Zoe.
Yeah,
We don't know which way she'll go, but whatever. Yes.
definitely not towards Zoe. I can tell
It's
you
gonna
that.
be a love square. Is that what you're saying?
It could be. It could
Maybe
be a
a lo-
hexagon. It could be a
hexagon.
pentagon. Who knows?
Interesting.
hex.
Who knows?
The hex.
Oh
Interesting.
God, not a hex. No, but Nightlight. Yeah, she's got some work to do.
I'm like, for real, I feel like this show, or at least this episode specifically, has like kind of mirrored a lot of Spider-Man type stuff. Like, oh look, there's Night Monkey that's like walking around street. There's Hard Light or Nightlight or whatever.
Okay.
I don't know. I
I
keep
can
on
see
seeing
that.
like little tropes of Spider-Man here and there, and I appreciate it. I like it.
No. I mean, it works. They're very similar. They're both in high school. They both have big dreams as far as this universe goes, to live up to the heroes that are already present in their universe. You know, and she's got Captain Marvel. she looks up to. The girl who flew through Thanos' ship, she's gonna want to leave a mark, you know, and that's her whole thing. Can a brown girl from Jersey City leave her mark on the world? But man, girl, you got to practice more. When Bruno says, let's practice, don't be all eye candy for Kamran. You better get your butt on that roof and start making some thingies. Like, she could barely even pick up her fist when she made that fist.
Oh yeah, it kept inflating. Yeah, kept getting bigger and bigger, and then like
and then she couldn't pick it up. Right.
I do want to see more of like the stretchy side of things.
Yes.
You know, like her acting more like her inspiration character, Miss Marvel. Because a lot of it so far is just manifesting the lights and using them. Actually, I like it how they incorporated it, because I think it was Bruno. He was playing on I think his phone. He was playing Super Lucky Tail. He was playing the platformer, which is cool. And Kamala saw it and she's like, hey, maybe that's how I can traverse, you know, like the sky. I can, like, you know, hop on these little platforms like a platformer. So I thought that was neat, you know. She didn't just pull that out of nowhere, like, oh, let me be this type of superhero. She had to look at a video game her friend was playing and like, oh, I think I can do that. Yeah, sure.
And I think that'll be the thing moving forward. She will draw inspiration from her everyday life. Do
you think she's gonna go into like a manga store and open up One Piece and see? Oh my god!
If they did that, oh my gosh! If they did that, that'd be cool.
That would be funny.
I don't think so.
Come on, they could do it.
I don't think they're gonna do that.
They show Super Lucky Tail. That's a licensed game. They show.
Yeah, I thought that was Crash Bandicoot for a second. I was like,
my god,
we just lost like 10 viewers because of.
I don't know no Super Lucky Tail.
They're both orange. I thought it was Crash Bandicoot.
Okay. It's different kind of orange also.
Lucky Tail?
I don't. I actually thought it was Crash Bandicoot as
well. Oh my god. You see?
Listen,
this is why you guys need an Xbox and you need to get Game Pass. Buy it now.
Listen, the last video game that I played was probably Crazy Taxi on PS2. I barely played video game. The last system I owned was a PS2. I did have an Xbox 360 to play Arkham once, but that was about it.
Grandmaster, oh my, Arkham.
Stop, we are not getting into this. I think Kamala is going to draw inspiration. Maybe she'll get a manga, more video game. Kamala, yes, that's what I said. Will draw inspiration from around her. And then I think by next episode, we're going to see more of her doing some real training with these people and getting in touch with what's going on. That's what I think is going to happen.
I can see that happening. It looks like the mystery of what's going on it seems to be more of a centerfold now in this story. Now she can't escape it. She's with Kamran, and they're probably going to give her a lore dump in the next episode of like maybe part of what's going on. And now she knows she's being actively pursued by this faction of the police that's not really the police. We don't know what they are. It's interesting. I feel like things are finally picking up a little bit. They're building up towards something, and I like that. As to what I want in the next episode, I kind of just want a little bit of an explanation as to, you know, some of the secrets that's going on. I kind of want to know about the grandmother right now. I want to know what great shame she brought on the family. And was the shame just that she was like a hero that saved people and that's not accepted in the culture?
What if
go on
she was with I'm sorry, I'm trying to think about I'm trying to remember his name. What if the father was Kingo?
Oh,
great fame.
Yo, let's stop.
God.
No.
You're willing to accept that, but
blood
not,
in her.
Not
okay, I will say this. I will say just don't do that, because it's like you got one brown person, a brown hero, and another brown hero, and they have to be related. I would say don't do it for that reason. But
not for that reason, but
if you can make it work, I'll buy it. If you can make it work, I'll buy it. Because what? We don't know any Eternals to have children except for Fastos, but he adopted.
Right.
Oh, true.
Wait, who's? Oh, okay, right. Yeah,
The
he
black guy.
adopted. Right, I remember.
Yeah, so we don't even know
Paperboy.
if Eternals could have children. But don't do this whole brown and
we don't-
brown.
And we
I
don't
mean, I'm
know.
not trying to do it like on purpose to be like, oh, all brown people are weird or whatever. I'm just trying to do it so that it's like they don't explain Inhumans in the MCU other than the crappy TV show that we don't even know if it's canon with everything other than the small cameo that happened in a movie that I will not say because someone hasn't watched it because it's not June 22nd yet. I think that this might be a lead into like more people with inhuman abilities, and so maybe they're using like Eternals children to I don't know.
Which, I mean, even if that is the case, it raises the question, like, if she's a descendant of Kingo, she needs these cosmic bracelets to awaken her abilities?
I mean, who made those bracelets? Maybe Fastos made the bracelets.
Could be.
Mm.
Maybe
I
at
just
some
don't
point
know.
she won't need the bracelets anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah.
I just said I stumped all of you.
I
Well,
see. Yes.
I mean, maybe like if she like loses the bracelets, maybe her actual abilities are her stretchy powers. Because right now we don't know what her actual abilities are, other than the fact that the bangle is something that she's using to channel them. So who knows what's to
Okay.
happen?
I would say it would be smart to tie it into some known MCU lore. And I like, again, the cultural component too, you know, but it'd probably be smarter to tie it into some known lore versus coming up with a convoluted reason. So, but we'll see. We'll see.
We shall see. Is that about everything in the episode? We covered everything. Any expectations? What you guys want in episode 3 specifically? A fight scene, perhaps?
Kingo.
Kingo. You know what? Fine. Yes.
Yeah.
Show me Kingo.
Well, he is on his Disney little parade right now. He's got
Yeah.
Obi-Wan and he's got Kingo. So, you know, maybe.
He can make space.
Yeah, he could fit
Honestly,
fit into a schedule.
I want to see the grandmother, the great grandma. I want the lore
Yes.
to be explained. I'm tired of the Vision. I'm 99% sure the lady in the car was from the Vision, and I doubt she's the great grandmother. So I want more detail.
You doubt the one in the car is the great grandmother?
Yeah, because if she's Cameron's mom, and that's
so you're saying
her
they're two
great.
separate characters, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, for
And I
sure.
feel
Yeah.
like- Yeah, and the way I'm thinking it is Cameron is the nice person, but the mom might be evil, or not evil, but she might have her own goals where she ignores everybody else's wishes.
Oh, she's gonna
So-
manipulate her.
Yeah, which would be
Okay.
the ironic thing if, I mean, I don't know. I'm waiting to see. But I want to see the great grandmother. I want to know the lore. I want to know what happened. We have 5 episodes left?
Mhm.
Four.
4 episodes left. We're about to hit halfway to the show. They need to explain some stuff. The grandmother needs to be introduced at this point. We can't wait till the end because we don't know if we're going to get a season 2. So all of that needs to be resolved. So
I agree.
that's what I'm waiting for.
I personally want to see more Kamala and Bruno action. I love me some little teeny bop romance. What's that face for, Grandmaster?
I just looked up something.
Oh
that-
no,
No,
again.
it's not a spoiler. I guess they showed it. They gave the name to that agency.
The DODC.
Yeah,
What
Oh,
is
you
it
looked up
for?
what they
it's
are?
Damage Control.
That's what I thought. They were the same people from Spider-Man and other
Yes,
versions of Spider-Man.
from Homecoming. Yes.
Homecoming.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
They
they
were the
deal
ones
with
that were-
superhero damage control. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
Got
Cool.
it. I don't remember.
See, I'm
that.
telling you, they have way too many connections to Spider-Man. And there's some. Tom Holland might make a guest appearance. I'm just kidding, probably not.
So
But
so they're not bad guys. They're not bad guys. But
Yeah. They
again, their apprehension methods are stupid.
questionable, very intimidating, especially to
Mm.
a high schooler.
Yeah, and the weapons that they did have were kind of like more stun eco waves or whatever they were called, like the little EMP waves, instead of anything that's like
A
hurtful.
bullet.
Yeah.
We'll
Um,
see.
But yeah, I want to see more romance. I kind of want to see more of like the side characters too. Like I feel like that's kind of fun to explore. And I definitely want to see more powers. That's what I'm expecting for episode 3.
I do want to see more powers. That's always good to see that. But all right, I think we have our expectations in check. I think every expectation's fair. Let's see what the mid-season finale has to give next week. But with that, I think that pretty much wraps up our deep dive of episode 2 for Miss Marvel. Let us know what you all think in the comments below, wherever you're listening to us on, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, at the Yonkō Table, and keep the conversation going. Check out our Patreon and join our Discord server, because we're on there as well. What are your expectations? What do you want to see out of Miss Marvel? We're here to talk about it. But with that, everyone, I'm your Yonkō host, DrJaceAttorney, fellow Yonkō GrandMasterHoop, and Supernovas Darce and Toasty, signing off, everyone, and take care.